Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us again for another Steftalks webinar. Today, we are going to be talking about, does technology really kill creativity? We have a great lineup of panelists and also a special guest, Alex. I'll have him introduce himself in a little bit. That will go through and guide this discussion about new trends and what's going on. If you have any questions during the webinar, go ahead and drop them in the question box on your screen, and we will get to them at the end. We are also recording this session, and we'll be sending out the recording as well as the main takeaways that we would want you to remember from today's webinar. So Alex, welcome, and let's go ahead and get started.
Thank you. It's great to be here. To everyone out there, thanks for joining us. I've been spending some time with our panelists this week. And let me tell you, this is a special group. I feel like we're already like a group of old friends sitting back, kicking back, sharing memories and stories. And I hope that you'll feel the same way with being in the room with us. And of course, we welcome your questions. The way that I love to kick off panels is to have everyone introduce themselves, but only, people sometimes, they spend half the panel with the introduction. So the constraint here is that you get a length of a tweet to introduce yourself. Now, it used to be that you only got 140 characters, but since Twitter expanded the tweet to 280, we'll give you guys 280 characters to share a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what brings us here. So Guilherme, do you want to kick off? And you can have an extra tweet to tell us what Stefanini is.
Thanks, Alex. Pleasure to be here. Thank you, everybody, for participating. We feel very honored with your attention. So Stefanini, we have two main engines at Stefanini, but we are a very entrepreneur company. We started based in Brazil, but now we're a global company, 41 countries, 27,000 employees. We were born as a technology service company, but today we are much more than that. We keep our side on technology so we can provide the scale and support our clients. So we say we're big enough to co-invest with them, to bring new ideas, to put up innovation to work. And at the same time, we have an ecosystem of other companies that we bring deep in expertise, be in an industry, be in the a specific theme, that we can say that we're small enough to be very niched and very focused and help them to bring these main ideas. So we're kind of bringing the big and the small together to make it happen for our clients on the digital transformation. And of course, it has to be delivering results. So more or less about Stefanini. My name is Guilherme. I'm responsible for the Stefanini Ventures, that is this type of companies that are more niched from the group. And also I'm today here helping more on our marketing services, digital marketing services platform. So that will be me with a tweet.
All right, thank you, Guilherme. Tiago, love the shirt, as I told you off camera. Thank you for bringing the hotness today. So tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, so it's a pleasure to join the panel, and thank you for your compliment about my shirt. I love as well. So
my Friday's already off to a good start with it. So this is anyway. I'll stop talking about the shirt, but go ahead.
Okay, so it's a shirt from a client of ours. It's called Havaianas. It's very traditional, from sandals, flip-flops, and so they are on the streetwear as well. So my name is Tiago Ritter. I'm a co-founder and CEO of W3 Haus, which is an advertising company. Who was founded in the year 2000. And in July this year, we were acquired by Stefanini Group as part of their new ventures. So we are in the marketing pillar. And well, I think I exceeded my 280 characters. So it's very nice to join the panel.
That was good. That was good. We'll call it an Instagram caption. Okay, Joao, you're up.
Thanks, Alex. And good afternoon for everybody. Happy Friday Thank you very much for all of you to be here with us, assisting this webinar. I'm Joao Mota. I'm CEO of Inspiring. Inspiring is a Stefanini Group technology company. We are specialized in customer engagement and lifecycle management. Today, our software platform supports more than 65 million customers along our clients. And our main objective is to helping our clients to drive their digital transformation and to contact with one of their customers in a personalized way. So I'm very happy to be here with my colleagues, and I hope I can contribute with some practical issues to answer the central question of this webinar.
I'm sure you're going to contribute. I have some idea of what you're going to say, and it's the good stuff. All right, Alex C., bring us home.
So can I get an IGTV or a
you
TikTok?
Yeah, we'll give you a blog post. I feel like we've done 2 tweets. We're doing tweet storms here, so
I'm gonna be short but intense. I'm gonna be short but intense. Tiago, this frog wants its shirt back. So my name is Alex. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Stefanini Infinit, which is a joint venture we did last year to put together 3 very important worlds: the world of advertising and creativity, the world of technology, and the world of data. And basically our purpose is to be the ultimate integrator of all these beautiful things into seamless services that the clients really need in today's world. So basically that would be it. I was the shortest.
That was good. You did a tweet length. We appreciate it. Thank you, Alex. So this topic is interesting. Does technology kill creativity? You know, it's been something that's been talked about for a while, the question of whether technology and creativity are actually in tension. And, you know, it's also one of the things where now creativity seems like it's bonding to technologies in ways that it hasn't before. So I think that the best way to start this conversation is to like really explore the topic a little bit and sort of parse out the tension to see what we're really getting at here. So I definitely want to hear our panelists' views on this. Guilherme, what's the deal? Does technology and going to kill creativity? What does that actually mean?
I wouldn't go with that. I think now marketing, if you take a time before, was a one-way conversation, right? So where creativity and the big creative talent was all the agencies or the branding could do for the company to go on television and call their attention. I think we still need creativity, but in a different way, right? So how we can have a conversation, a two-way conversation now that the internet, the new tools, social media allow us to have. So I think it's still very important, but how we can do it, let's say, in a bionic way, how we can use technology to improve our human capabilities to have this conversation and to engage with customer of course, in a creative way, because nobody wants to have a dual conversation, right? So I think in sense of the way it's shaking up the industry about that, having technology versus the, let's say, the more traditional way of doing advertisement or marketing. So I think this is, and also, I would say that people are looking more at numbers. I think it's important, but it's not just about that. I think how you make people feel with your work or with your brand, I think today is even more important. But the way to make them feel, I think it's quite different from before. It's not just inspirational, but delivering results, having the right answers and engage with them. So I would start from that. I don't know if it's too much, but I would start from that.
No, that's a good amount. So what I'm hearing is that, from your perspective, we have so much data and people are sending, 1 million different ads to, 2 million different people. And there can be a tendency to get lost in the numbers and look at click-through rates and conversion rate and not really care too much about the creative. But you believe that there's a strong place for trying to evoke emotion in advertising and marketing today. And we shouldn't forget that. Decent summary? You'll take it.
Pretty much. I think that's
You'll take it. Okay, Alex C., tell us a little bit about people losing sight of the actual person that they're speaking with when they're so lost in the data. You have a unique insight on that. So would you like to share?
Yeah, so great question. But before that, if we talk about technology and creativity, I think the battle is pretty lost on the technology side, because technology is the result of creativity plus laziness, right? So from the history of humankind, we were creative enough to create tools which became technology because we were lazy enough to do a lot of manual work, right?
That's
so
right. It's laziness at scale.
Yeah, exactly. Scalable laziness applied by now. So coming back to your question, I wanted to give two little examples about data and feelings and how these two connect. I want to talk about a brand. I'm not going to name the brand in this conversation, but it suffice to say it was a brand of snacks that got your hand dirty when you eat them. And there's this little story, probably a lot of our audience already heard it, but I want to say it because it's very relevant for the discussion. They asked a lot of people in a focus group if they want to change the product so it doesn't get your hands dirty when you eat it. And 99% said, yes, I hate it when it's dirty. And then they had the insight to not ask them, but to observe them enjoying the product. And the results were reversed. Basically, people do love to get their hands dirty, but they would never admit it. So what is the insight we get out of this? It's the same when I did a lot of research for a beer, and I was asking people in like, let's say, low-cost bars, what beer do you prefer? And everybody said Stella Artois, Heineken, you know, this and that. But on the table, there was like a 10% price beer, you know, like the lowest. And this is very important, because you always have to take in consideration what people wish for and dream about, what is the current situation, and you always have to be careful enough to communicate taking those things in consideration. I don't think we can ever turn 100% to just using data, ever. Because that would be the moment when we, for example, can teach a computer how to love, right? Or how to feel scared or sad. And until this happens, I don't think the other way around is going to work also. I don't believe in extreme approaches in this regard. And also, it's another thing that I wanted to mention. You talked, and Guilherme said very well about the feelings, right? Guys, if you take a look at the last 9 months of our lives, all brands needed to do was to make people feel safe, and understood. It was such a simple task in defining it, which proved to be extremely difficult for a lot of brands, right? I mean, if you take a look, a lot of companies went bankrupt, and a lot of companies managed to adapt. And basically, what we all needed to realize is that there's only one entity who now determines our future as businesses: the consumer. He has the power. His behavior and his reaction to the changes in the world are the ones that determine success and failure in business. It's unbelievable. And not only to the B2C businesses, to businesses like us, B2B2C, because we are servicing businesses who are servicing consumers, right? And if we are not careful enough to see those trends, to be able to adapt, to be able to come and help our clients and brands and say, guys, no, everything has changed. Let's not dream about coming back to the previous normal. Stop dreaming. It is our job to stop dreaming, to basically offer hope and keep the consumers, you know, dreaming and hoping. So it's a huge responsibility that brands had in this period. So that is my 2 cents on the subject.
Well said, well said. And maybe one day we will get to a place where computers can love. But until then, I think that your point is well taken.
If you ask some geeks, I don't want to name some certain geeks, probably they will say right now computers love.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, it'll be on the next episode of Black Mirror. Nobody in this chat. Okay, just making sure. Joao, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this question. What's, you know, is there this real tension?
Yes, I think so, but I'm graduated in engineering, so I always have been from the technical side point of view. Okay, of course, data is cannot be the king of the world on when you're taking some decisions, but I think that the most advances we have been having in the last few years is the rising of data, and data will permit us to make more decisive connections and to make more assertive decisions. Of course, what will be the life without emotion, without creativity? But we think we are in a happy new era where you can unite these two different things, or potentially different things. This is creativity and technology. And without the two, we don't have the precision tools to engage the client, to engage the customer, and of course to make it him consuming a little bit more.
Okay, so someone stood up for the data here. That's good. We'll have some real balance in the discussion. Hey, someone had to. Tiago, how about you?
I think it's a matter of semantic discussion, because I'm a very critic about the advertising world. I mean the madman advertising world, you know, because in this world the creative guy is the owner of the big ideas and the owner of the creativity, and we live in a world that the sense of creativity is much broader, it's much wider, and for me, the most creative guys in the world are the Lego engineers, for instance. For me, it's amazing the way they can assemble this kind of toy, and I was fascinated by a new release of Roma Coliseum, 9,000 pieces. So I was imagining how creative must be a guy in order to assemble and to have this kind of idea. So in this sense, for me, creativity is just adapting to a new way of, a new behavior, a new way of living. So if you are living the past, the way of being creative was by creating a 30 seconds film, very emotional or very funny or very, I don't know, inspiring, and this guy would be the, you know, the owner of creativity and would be awarded in Cannes Lion Festival and etc. So nowadays, when we talk about creativity, I'm sorry about the participation of my kids, but I think everybody's facing this.
This is pandemic life. That's right. No need to apologize.
Yeah. So I think the sense of creativity in these days is how can we take advantage of all the tools we have, we can work with, as data, as all the sensors we have in this device. So geolocalization and accelerometer, all this kind. And the most creative guys are the ones that understand the context of the consumer. So once it was said that content is king, and we're living in an era that context is king. So it's very important to understand if in this moment I'd like to you know, fill up my time when we are at the airport and we have to spend time. So it's important for us to have, I know, deeper content, or spend some time at Netflix, Hulu, whatever. But when we are in a hurry and we need to buy some diapers to our kids, and if we have like an advertising of a promotional price or something that understands our needs and comes and it's very direct and can solve our problem, so it's as much creative and a good 30-second film. So that's my idea of creativity in these days. It's very important to understand the context of consumer and deliver the best asset, the best solution, not only solution, I mean the best asset would be the nice word, because sometimes we need to kill time and sometimes to need to save time. So that's the way I think technology and creativity are living together these days.
And that has some serious implications for the marketing world, right? I mean, let me ask you this, because no one knows context better than the customer or the business itself. But what it used to be is they would go to the outside for content, show up to an ad agency basically cold and say, help us stoke that emotion. So if we're talking about a world where context matters a lot, but the content people sit outside, what's the right operating model for an advertising marketing partnership, in your opinion, Tiago?
Yeah, so there is no cake recipe, as we say in Portuguese. It's not something that it's not on a manual, but I really believe that some models that are very effective in these days, and I'm a big fan of the model of Ambev created, called Draftline, because in the past, or in, I don't know, the recent years, we used to have like the model when you have the agency and you have the client, and sometimes the client decides to create a house agency inside their structure. And I think this model of Draftline is bringing the agency inside the company. So it's not a house agency, but is the agency, the agency staff, the agency people inside the company, facing the business problems and facing their needs, and having a very quick response for this context understanding challenge. So if there's, especially in Brazil, Brazil is a very social country in terms of social media. So we once called the social media capital of the universe by, I'm not sure if it was The Economist or a magazine in the United States.
Yeah, it's true. Whenever, not to interrupt your thoughts, but whenever one of the Silicon Valley companies out here want to figure out how a new product is going to do, they come to Brazil and test it, because they know that the usage is so enthusiastic and so attached to the product that Brazil will be the first country that tells them if they messed up. So
yeah, exactly. So in this sense, we have lots of conversation going on social media, and the brands they need to take advantage of this conversation and not to interrupt, but join the conversation. And sometimes the conversation lasts like one day, but you have the opportunity to join the conversation and make your brand be important for the people in this very quick conversation and the quick trend. So in this sense, the model of being close to the client, of course, we are facing a pandemic in the world, so everybody, most of the people, are doing home office. So, but in like the old normal, maybe the new normal, when we are able to living together again, this model for me it's a winning model, because we have all the expertise, and you have the people from the agency which are focused in advertising world. Okay, so it's important for them to keep recycling their knowledges and their references, but they're living the day-by-day life of an actual business. So it's regardless if it's a retail company or an industry company or whatever company. So I think this mix of operating model, it's in these days is the best one we have in our clients. Of course, we have the traditional one, we have the different ones, but I think this one it's a very good model, and we are having lots of good results having this kind of operation.
Yeah, so to embed, so to almost have the creative folks and the folks who know the context sit side by side and work together to form better campaigns and better engagement with the end user.
Yeah, and we try to incentivize the like a more multitask role, you know, not having just oh, I'm the creative guy, I'm not, I just have the idea, I'm not doing any copy, I'm not doing, you know, any interaction on social media because I'm the god of ideas. So this kind of thought, it's important to break and create a unit.
Yeah, you got to understand both the creative and the media side, because if you're talking to audiences in real time, you're lost if you're just trying to do one. You're going to get a message that isn't going to work. Let's bring it back.
Alex, if I may put my 2 cents here, and I think it's important that the idea not just to build in-house within your own people, but to use partners to bring together, because I think creativity, it comes from diversity, right? To have different ideas, different things, or different perspectives being put together in new ways. So when you bring up like an agency or outside partner, he also has a lot of things that he's seeing outside the client perspective. He can bring in and add this to, let's say, fill up the creativity within the model that you're playing with your client. So I think this is very important to help the communication and the marketing strategy to go further and to have better results. So I think this is also very important. Since we're talking about creativity, I think this is a very important element here.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that this is definitely a moment where stuff is different than it's ever been. And the companies that adapt and reinvent are going to be the ones that succeed. Sort of a theme in the book, Always Day One, which all the attendees are going to get, one I wrote. And I hear you. Like if agencies, companies need to adapt, and agencies, I think that end up, you know, being able to provide that sort of embedded service are going to be an advantage here, because they'll be able to meet the moment.
Alex, just for me to jump in a bit on the subject, I think at the end of the day, what we are seeing, if we look at the trends, is a new reinvention of the concept of organizational culture. And I want to underline something very important, especially because of the pandemic situation. The new business reality is not about adapting anymore. It's not let's adapt. It's about becoming ever adaptable. It's about becoming adaptable, not to adapt. Very important slight difference, because before we used to adapt to a new reality, wait 3 to 5 years, you know, in that new reality. No, right now we have to learn to become adaptable, to be like water, like Bruce Lee was saying, you know. Companies need to be like water. If you become the cup, you become the bottle. That's the whole idea. And this is not easy. It's not easy because you always have to be careful on the cultural differences, even between departments, you know. And it's pretty hard to build. It's pretty hard to build such a culture. What I'm observing, because I have the opportunity to work with many large companies in many countries and, you know, continents, and what I'm seeing is an incredible trend. I see clearly a movement, but nobody is seeing where it will end. So we cannot see the destination yet, just now. This is, it's impossible to see, but clearly we see the movement in approaches like Tiago was saying, like Guilherme is saying, also agencies who are starting to hire more and more people from the client side. So clients, you didn't hear that, but yeah. So what I'm saying is that we are also looking to get people from the client within the agency, you know, so it goes both ways. I mean, it is very important to be very open and flexible in these times.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that's why I named the book Always Day One. Not to go on a rant about it, but the interesting thing that I've seen about the tech giants. So I thought Always Day One, it's an Amazon saying, and Amazon is notorious for making its employees work hard. And I always thought that meant always day one, basically you got to work as if you're in a startup, even though we're a company that's worth $1 trillion and has hundreds of thousands of people. You got to work as hard as if it's your first day and not take your foot off the gas pedal. But actually, you know, in studying this company, so the book goes into Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, and talks about culture. And in studying Amazon, it was actually very different than I imagined. Of course, they work hard. We all know that. But the most unbelievable thing that a company on its first day has is no baggage, no attachment to what they did yesterday and having to, invest all their resources in order to keep up failed projects or legacy. And the tech giants are big, and usually big companies, they get stagnant and fall apart. But they haven't fallen apart, and they've gotten stronger because they do come in with this mentality as if they're a company on their first day, and saying, doesn't matter what we did yesterday, all of our legacy can be legacy, but we're going to operate today as if we just came into existence. And like you talked about, not learning to adapt once or twice, but being ever adaptable, I think is key to those businesses.
You talk about working hard, and I noticed something very interesting. Again, I have the opportunity, and for me this is fascinating. That's why we joined the Stefanini Group. For us, the main selling point was this global footprint. I mean, I swear to God, every time I wake up in the night, it's 3 a.m. Something happens somewhere in the world, and I'm in a CC. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if I cannot sleep, I pick up and start WhatsApping people from the US, from Brazil, from this one. It doesn't matter. So this is unbelievable fuel and energy. And working with a lot of hardworking people, I want to change a bit the nuance from hardworking to intense working. I swear to God, the most hardworking and intense working people I know are the ones who don't feel they work at all. They don't feel tired. They don't feel it's like they are happy. They do what they love. It's unbelievable. And I don't think a winning solution, and after 15 years of entrepreneurship, I don't think the solution is ever to get all the people to work hard. It will never happen. It will never happen. But I think the solution is to find those people, who are always pushing themselves further, because if they push themselves in your organization, the organization itself pushes further. This is a very interesting stuff. And I want to add one more thing about this whole pandemic, who taught us a lot of things. People started working as, day 1, day 2. How is this working? Do you deliver? How is this work from home working out for you? Is it business as usual? What is happening? And we said one thing: people who weren't working at the office are not working from home, and people who were working at the office are working from home. So people, in fact, don't change. Whatever tools you put in front of them, either a screen right now, or we could have done this live, face to face, it doesn't matter. People don't change. So I think it's priority 0 for any organization to find the right people, put them in the right position, and not push them, but give them enough freedom for themselves to motivate and move further. That's my 2 cents on the subject.
Very, very well said. Yeah, and to add one thing to that, I feel like you can work as hard as you want, but if you're working for something that's going obsolete, it doesn't matter. And so it just sort of reinforces the idea of making sure the strategy is towards something that's looking toward the future versus reinforcing legacy product that might take you for another 5 years or so, but doesn't take you the full way. Will never really be worth it. Just one quick stat: a century ago, average company on the Fortune 500 lasted 70 years. Now it's 15 years. So this ability to constantly reinvent is going to be embedded into every successful company moving forward. All right, I was going to toss to Joao like a half hour ago, so but I enjoyed our tangent. I did, but let's do it now. So we've talked a little bit about like the creative side and the technical side, and that exists not only within the marketing function, but within marketing and IT and sales. These are very different organizations with different priorities. So how do you get them to work together?
Yes, Alex. Actually, besides all the technological evolution and all the executive engagement on digital transformation, the real situation is that sales and marketing are 2 teams apart, okay? And all companies that we are working for still struggle to unite the sales and marketing teams. When they try to launch a digital campaign, there are a 3rd team that will go to action. That makes very dependent sales and marketing teams. It is the IT department. So these 3 teams, marketing, sales, and IT, must work together to for anything to happen. Okay, so there are lots of money and time wasting on these companies, setting up sales workflows, connecting IT databases to support these digital campaigns. But at the end of the day, everyone is pulling Excel reports, and that's the day-by-day reality. So this also means that everyone is missing opportunities as well, revenue goals. Okay, so why is this happening? First of all, I think the world is evolving often, and now at a light speed. Okay, so first, organizations need to build the right systems and the right architectures to support this new business models that are continually evolving. Okay, after, no one can survive alone on this world, so you must have capabilities to pull data from multiple sources, including outside organizations, in order to build your platforms that will support your new business models. Second, and most important, the organizations are dealing with a shift from traditional product-oriented business to a world where everything is offered as a service. And in this new world, these companies need to adapt to a new customer that is more frictionless. They need some pathways to more easier engagement. And third and last one, the world is powered by ubiquitous connectivity. So every customer has a smartphone, and every customer has increased their service expectations. So this is how we see the world right now, and this how we see that we can overcome this problem with more technology, with more creativity. As I said previously, I'm an engineer, so I think everything is an engineering problem. And I think, as I said to my team, we must stay on the market as a bridge builders, to bridge the gap between marketing and sales function, and the other side, be a IT facilitator. So with all these trends putting together, we think that the Stefanini Group can have a word on this, because I think Stefanini Group is a one-stop shop enabler for companies to use more intelligent creativity, and of course the technology that will deliver the powerful experience to our clients.
I want to welcome our sixth panelist. Alex, do you want to introduce our new friend?
Alex is looking like I'm being James Bond villain, right? So just petting the cat and letting to take the world.
Now I need to turn with the chair, like.
That's right.
No, the idea is that this is my colleague, and working from home means that supporting. And basically, I think if this cat could speak, this cat could really consult a lot of companies in many areas. And then at one point after the first 4 months, I wanted to get the cat to sign an NDA, just to be sure, because it's here with me, hearing everything. But I just wanted to give him some attention because he's begging here. Sorry, guys, for the interruption.
No, it's not an interruption. I feel like it's a good halftime show. What's the cat's name?
His name Gigica.
Thank you for joining us, Gigica. So there's this like human and cat, there's a tension between sales marketing. Always, right? The cultures
And technology. I think
and
technology.
technology. Like you both like to blame each other for the other one's faults, right? So there's that famous scene from Glengarry Glen Ross, you know, the salespeople, the leads are weak. And then he goes, the leads are weak, you're weak. And now people must say the technology backbone is weak, you know, so there's finger pointing everywhere. So does anyone have an idea in terms of how the culture of these three divisions can actually be bridged and how there can be, you know, how can we have them working towards the same goal versus throwing each other under the bus?
Well, I can give some 2 cents on this. So the first thing is aligning everybody to the same objective, right? So sometimes IT guys are very focused on budget and not end result, and so normally these tend to create a friction between the guys who want to get results and sometimes have to do more investments, and the guy who has a budget control very tight. So I think this is very important. I think having the same alignment. The second one is giving visibility of the end result within the whole chain, because sometimes I'm saying about IT because we came from this type of on Stefanini, we came from this world, so we get to know very well it. So we don't normally, sometimes we don't see the end results of what we develop or what we do. So when you give this visibility, the team here supporting the guys in the front line and communicating with the clients can also be more creative, can give new ideas, can understand the importance of their action. So I think this is also the second. And the third, I think it's not just setting up the roles correctly, but having the tools and the technology to give the team the empowerment to work. So as Joao was saying, when you do the bridge, what normally we do is create something that IT can track, so they don't have like a shadow thing or a second, they're gonna get a new system that they didn't know that exists. At the same time, normally the business areas have a lot of pain points with IT, because normally IT is very full of backlog. They have a lot of in their backlog. They have different priorities within different three areas of the company, so it's not easy to manage this. So if you have the right set of tools that you can give them flexibility on the endpoint, so like we do with our campaigns, when we help the clients, so we can think something in the morning, run in the afternoon, in the end of the day we have the results to check it out. So give this a lot of flexibility and allows creativity to flow and get results. At the same time, these things get all the visibility to IT. So I think it's how you operate in a way that you empower the other areas to use more your data, your systems, your things, to give them flexibility. So I think I would put these three main goals like to help the companies work better. The second thing that we'll also say would be having the right people or the right partners that can discuss the both of their language, right? Because if you get people from IT, they're going to speak one type of language and not necessarily the same language as marketing or sales. So having this type of right partner that have the expertise to go across it will help a lot the client to talk and to deliver this type of conversation between silos of them. We can do that, of course, but I think this is very important. Of course, we do work very closely with the clients to deliver that. So I think this type of operation support and the type of partner helps a lot, this dialogue between areas, and this is very important. That would be my my two first cents here.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about, especially today, you know, we have to translate not only languages, you know, typical languages, but also languages that different groups will speak inside a company, even if they're all communicating in the same top level language. Alex, I'm going to present you with a challenge. I have like 2 questions for you, but we are running short on time, and I figured I'm going to ask both of them, and I think that you'll be able to weave them into a coherent answer, maybe touching on both topics. So I did want to ask you about the way that culturally marketing, IT, and sales can fit together. But I also wanted to ask you, how can marketing specifically align their goals with the sales team? So why don't you take a swing at touching on both of those things in one answer? I know you can do it. I know you can do it.
Let's hope.
Can I have another question? Just another question.
Yeah. Let's do one more.
Oh, okay, Alex. People say that curiosity kills the cat, and marketeers say that IT department kills the creativity. So I think, as you as a cat owner and a marketeer.
Is this an execution? How should I feel? Because I'm a pretty easy target to, to get.
To reach. Yeah.
So, guys, I think it's not such a big secret. And let's take a step back and look at all the companies that are succeeding in today's world. Let's take a look at Apple, for example, right? What does Apple do, and what did Steve Jobs do differently that inspired all of us? He looked at a lot of other areas from which he brought into one product, right? He looked at arts, calligraphy, design, technology, engineering, and so forth. Look at Tesla. Look at all this. I have zillions of examples of success because they respected a lot of other trades, to put it this way. So what I noticed is very simple but very hard to achieve. You need to respect each other's trade. And I will give you a couple of examples. If an organization doesn't make sure that the creative people, who are wearing, red sneakers and come to the office in shirts, they don't understand what the developers are doing in that dark room, and they don't put down satellites. Like a creative guy asked him, do you know what this department does? And he said, they're putting down satellites. And I said, no, what they do during program hours. Anyway, so the idea is also, if those people who are putting down the satellites don't understand why those creatives need to work in a certain way, and the creative culture needs to be very different from theirs, okay? That is the role of the management and of the people responsible for the organizational culture. Once you understand, and trust me, I've seen this with my own eyes in our organization, once they discover the world that everybody else is seeing, they become instantly fascinated. And not all of them. It will not work for everybody. I don't want to create false expectations. But if we get enough of the people to respect each other's trades, we are achieving quantum leaps. And that is the only way to do it. Because once the creative guy, the copywriter, the art director, the UX designer starts to ask the programmer, hey, bro, what are you doing here? Why did you do this? And then the programmer asks the creative guy, hey, bro, how can I get a date with a lady? And whatever they discuss with each other, once this starts happening, magic starts happening in a company. And I think it's simple to explain, but very hard to achieve, because this is not a precise science, right? It is something that you have to do every day. And it's a commitment of the company to start playing in the area of trust. Trust your people, trust your culture, trust your road that you took, instead, and moving from the micromanagement part. It is very important, and it depends what you want to achieve. So at the end of the day, it's all about managing to get these people to understand each other and respect each other. And I have one example that I want to give to you from a client. I hope he's not watching, but if he is, hello. I was out, the client was having a cigarette, and I was out with him, near the building, and he was saying, oh, I hate these people from sales. I hate them, like this, like hysterical, And I was looking, me being, partly sales, looking at the guy, and I hate them. All they think about is their commission and how to make more profit. And then I say, stop, say that again, but look at it from the company's perspective. All they care about is their commission, how to make more profit, and how to sell more. So you have an organization who clearly laid out the commission schema. You have an organization who motivated the salespeople, and you have salespeople who are desperate and motivated to create performance for that company. Say that again from this perspective. And he said, oh my God. I didn't say anything. I just told him to say that again. So what I'm trying to say is that, you see, it's a simple nuance. Would you rather be in an organization where the salespeople say, yeah, whatever, but we lose, yeah, I don't care. But really do what you want. Do you want to be in that organization? No, you will not feel safe in an organization like that. So at the end of the day, it comes down to communication, speaking each other's language, and learning from the examples given by these great people who build these incredible companies by respecting other people's trades, professions, and bringing it all together in incredible services and products. That's my 2 cents, or $90.
I like that. Yeah, no,
side.
that's good. That's good. So tough love and clarity sometimes goes a long way.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of tough love, there's, you know, I feel like there's like 1,000 and incentives actually. There's 1,000 different agencies trying to work with clients. Oftentimes there are multiple agencies that work. You know, they all should be shooting towards helping that client, you know, meet their objectives. But oftentimes, and I have a little bit about this actually in Always Day One in the Apple chapter. Oftentimes their incentives are misaligned and they go Game of Thrones and, you know, focus instead of meeting client objectives they focus on destroying their competitor. So actually, I think this would be a great question for both Guilherme and Tiago. Guilherme and Tiago, what is the right partnership model here? You know, how do agencies work, you know, alongside each other, but also have the client's interests in mind?
Well, I think it's very important for instance, in the case of clients, we share the same account in different, I don't know, brands, for instance. It's very important to our client to set the expectations of what they want in terms of deliverables, and especially I think going backwards a little bit, for me it's very important to change the culture from task culture to goal culture. You know, instead of make a list of tasks, create the sense of what goals are we seeking for. You know, so that's the best way of not having this kind of friction, not only between areas inside a company, but because in an advertising agency you face it all the time. Creative guys, as executive accounts, and media guys, so they have lots of issues among them. So but when you set up a specific goal and try to build this sense of team, you know, I was a sport guy, so, and a band guy, so I really have this sense of team building, and more specific, we try to create the sense of admiring the difference. You know, I admire my colleague because he knows a lot of technology, and he could admire me because I know a lot of culture, for instance. So I think this kind of admiration, it's very important for team building, and to point out that if you add 2 different species, you're gonna have a much more creative product than if you have two exactly the same guys trying to come up with something new. So I'm kind of mixed the two questions, but I think it's very important to make this switch, not only in terms of team building, but also in terms of how your team will face the challenges, you know, in terms of the projects and campaigns. And I think it might work as well in competitors. So if the client can set the expectations and makes an environment that don't stimulate the fight, but stimulate a collaboration, you can have the best solution. So if everybody understands that it's not a matter of the other agency brought the idea, so we need to bring up a better idea. It's a matter of, that's a good idea. How can we improve this idea in order to deliver something better to our client, you know? So, but it's very important for the client to lead and to create this sense of you are not competing to each other. I trust you. You are my agencies, but I need you to collaborate. So you are good in this thing and you are better on this thing. Why don't you add your expertise and try to figure out a better solution? So that would be my perspective in this matter.
I like it. All right, Guilherme, we have, let's see, 4
minutes
left. So
yeah,
why don't you let us off? Why don't you bring us home?
So talking about that, I think about the partners and being internal, external. I think the first one is someone who can adapt, or organization who can adapt, can be flexible, because things are going to be changing all the time. So I think this is important, that to be flexible, right? So you can work in different scenarios. You can work together with be competitors or partners or different perspectives. I think this is very important, because we never know what's going to happen tomorrow and how you can adapt or need. So I think this is one. The second thing is I said, to have the right incentives, not only internal but external. Sometimes the way you're gonna bring up external partners to work together, you create an incentive that is not well aligned to what you need to do. So this causes a lot of friction between negotiations and things like that. And I would say 3 would be to have some rituals, and I think that can support culture and communication the right way. So putting everybody in the same page. So for example, if you are from marketing and you're going to be launching a new project or a new campaign or a new product, sometimes to put everybody on the same page, call the IT guys, call the sales guy, show them what you're thinking, get their input. Sometimes they have thoughts on what would be the barriers from the technical side, what would be the barriers from the business side, or going to market, or talking to customers, things like that. So I think it's important to hear everybody, right? To admire the diversity that you can have, or the different perspectives or different points of view, and also keep the communication flow. I think it's very basic, but it's also very hard to do it in a unsustainable manner, to keep the communication flowing, what's happening. Of course, technology here will help them to be more creative, because if you say the same information between areas, you're going to get different ideas, because people have different backgrounds. So I think this is one way technology can help innovation. I would say, I think complementing on Tiago will be that, right? So having rituals that you communicate, be dailies, be weeklies, be monthly meetings, and of course, each one with their respective subjects and matters and results. So I think this is very important. And also that you can count on, right? So whenever you know people by the time that you need them. So if you call them and they answer in time of need, independent of the time, I think this is also very important. So I would say that, right? So concluding here.
Yeah, the best ability is availability. That's what they say in the NFL. Okay, well, heck of a note to close it on. Thank you, Guilherme and Tiago, Joao, and Alex, and thanks to everybody watching at home. We hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I learned a lot from everybody here, and have enjoyed our conversations over the past couple of days. So, Amy, are you gonna wrap it up, or should I bring it home?
Yes, let me wrap it up really quick. There was one question from the audience, so if I could ask that. I know we're running really short time, but the question was, is cybersecurity important in all of this global digitalization? And how do you see the threats coming together when the comfort of using, how do you see the threats coming together with the comfort of using technology? Do I need to say it again?
Well, no, I think I can get something here.
Okay,
right?
sorry.
So I think this is interesting to be a very diverse group, not only in terms of people, but in terms of what we do. We also work with cyber. And I think connecting to the topic here is respecting the brand or the company is how you use cyber to protect what you build up from scratch. That's very hard because normally you have a data leakage or you have a cyber attack. That's something that kills or stain some of your credibility with some customers and leave them on the tip of their toes to do new business. So I think this is important. I think this is one. Of course, cyber is very important here, and how do you protect? So having the right partners or using trustworthy platforms involving IT also helps a lot on this suspect in subject. As I'm not engineer, but I'm helping João here on the top of the technology guys. But so I think this is it. What we do, for example, we have technology that monitors the dark web to see what's going on about the company. So we embed that in our services for sustaining the brand and things like that. So we can anticipate. Of course, everybody is not bulletproof. We always have weak points. So how you prepare to mitigate, to communicate this subject, and it's very important. So I have to do a more broad answer here because every company has their specific pain points. So I'll be talking one and not two. So I will give more broad answer here.
I also want to jump a bit here, Alex, to this question. Another thing, if you are to connect it to the 80% discussion of our webinar about culture, I think it's very important how you communicate around the subject externally and how you educate your employees internally, because it's not just about putting tools in place, it's about educating them, not to click the spam. I'm oversimplifying it, but you need to have a very strong part of the entire culture to protect the digital life of the company, and there are a lot of ways you can do that. And one more thing off topic I wanted to add about creativity, and it's the last thing, and then I'll shut up. Guys, in the last 9 months, I saw creativity in finance, creativity in management, creativity in engineering. So I want to just give a shout out and recognition to all our colleagues, and all our clients and partners who showed a lot of creativity. And by the way, the most creative people start with, I'm not very creative, but I think we should, not in advertising. So congratulations and respect for all the people who shown creativity in how to handle this crisis that we've all been through. Creativity is everywhere. It's not just in advertising, and we have to, recognize it.
I agree.
Inspiring words to leave us on. Thank you. I'm going to head into the weekend inspired. I hope you all are as well at home. Amy, do you want to take us home?
Yeah, so thank you, everyone. Thank you for that question from the audience. I hope you enjoyed your time with us today. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.
Take care, everyone.